The video you're about to see, a breakdown of the latest Mel Kiper NFL Draft Big Board, was initially posted on our new NFL Draft YouTube channel. For even more videos on everything going on around this year's draft and beyond, go subscribe at youtube.com/chatNFL. Welcome into Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey. Mel Kiper of ESPN has put out his latest 2023 NFL Draft Big Board. We're going to react to it, break it down, and even though we're beyond the combine, there haven't been that many major pro day updates, there were some significant changes to Mel Kiper's big board that we will break down. The top 25 for him getting more finalized. No change, though, at the top. Jalen Carter, despite the very real off-the-field red flags, remains the number one prospect. I will make note that especially big board-wise, Mel's board is based pretty heavily on what he's hearing. That's why there's so many changes in April, significant ones too. That tells me Carter will still go pretty early. Bryce Young has jumped a spot to number 2. Kiper did say if Bryce Young checked in over 200 pounds, he'd be his number one quarterback. That remains the case here. Will Anderson has dropped a spot. There was really no explanation as to why they flipped, but they did flip. Mel remains a very large fan of Will Levis, who is number 4 on his board. He continues to compare him to Matthew Stafford, which that's the peak ceiling. I think that's talking about your range of outcomes. That's a very small range of outcome, I think there. I am not nearly as high on Will Levis, but Mel's been consistent on that front. That would make quarterback 3 C.J. Stroud. And I'm not trying to be mean to Texans fans out here. There's been a little bit of buzz that the quarterback board for Houston looks a little bit like this, that it's Bryce Young 1, and they're actually higher on Will Levis, which I would not advocate for that, despite Levis's prototypical size, arm strength, ability. I think C.J. Stroud is clearly a better player at this point. I think a better prospect, at least just, my opinion, of course, there. And I want to hear your opinion as well. All the players this year, who do you think is the best 2023 NFL Draft prospect? It is the pinned comment on today's video. So if an ad break just happens to come here on YouTube, cool, ignore the ad. It doesn't really matter what the ad is. No one cares. So go vote instead. Who is the best prospect this year? It's the pinned comment on today's video. Number 6, Anthony Richardson, who stayed at number 6, no change there. It's the boom-bust traits, skills, upside that's like, it could be so good, but he's also super raw. Mechanics need work. Like, a lot of risk. He's either going to get your coaching staff fired, or everyone gets a promotion and a raise type of deal. Devon Witherspoon. Hey, Mel and I agree. That's my quarterback 1. He did run in the mid-4.4s at his pro day. With the way that the combine numbers are juiced these days, pro day numbers, I think, are a little bit more accurate. Checked off that box despite being fairly skinny. Peter Skoronski has jumped up 3 spots. Okay. Mel is now labeling Skoronski as a guard, which is fine. The arm length is a very valid concern, although we did know that, a year ago. But he is, I think he is the best offensive lineman this year, so I think that's a great spot for Skoronski. Bijan Robinson stays at number 9. I would say, Mel says he's not grading on philosophy, just ability. I think Robinson could easily be higher then. If we're not factoring in the position of value, which I think is the right way to do the big board, ID how good the players are, don't window dress it up a little bit. I think Bijan he could be top 3. I'm not going to have him there myself, but he's about as good as a running back prospect we've seen in a very long time. Number 10, up 6 spots, Zay Flowers. How about that one? Yeah, big rise for Zay Flowers, who I will say Mel has always loved. And he jumps up 6 spots in his most recent big board, which is a fairly significant jump and one that I like Zay too. You will not catch me saying he's a top 10, even a top 15 prospect this year. Now, are you tired of struggling with bad habits? Cold turkey might be great for sandwiches, but there's a better way to break free from those pesky habits, and it doesn't involve any weird mind voodoo or bizarre tactics. Introducing our sponsor, Fume, an innovative award-nominated device that helps kick bad habits to the curb by focusing on the good parts. Scan the QR code on screen to learn more, but Fume is all about embracing the natural. It's not electronic, and instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Best of all, it's free of harmful chemicals and packed with delicious, all-natural flavors. The adjustable airflow dial movable parts and magnets make it perfect for fidgeting, especially for like me, which can help alleviate stress and anxiety while you break your habit. I wasn't sure what to expect at first, but I was pleasantly surprised by the taste, feel, and look of Fume. Breaking a habit can be tough, but with Fume, it's easy, enjoyable, and even fun. With over 100,000 customers and countless success stories, there's no reason you can't be next. Start your journey towards a healthier lifestyle with the Journey Pack from Fume. So visit tryfume.com/chatsports and use code chatsports for 10% off when you purchase the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com/chatsports. Don't forget to use code chatsports for 10% off your order. Link and the promo code are in the comments section and the description of today's show, or simply scan the big old QR code right there on screen to unlock this offer. Back to Mel's big board. Christian Gonzalez slides down 3 spots for reasons that are not explained. I think you can make arguments at least CB2, maybe if you love JPJ, CB3, but top 12, top 10 player, I'm on board with there. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, who has pretty consistently moved around 5 spots at a time on Mel's board, is now number 12 on where he sits. I believe the last time it was before his pro day. JSN ran in the low 4.5s. Great time for him at, as I like to call, Ohio State's downhill, downwind, 39-yard, 40-yard dash. The numbers have always just been higher than what they really are, but teams know that, and they do factor that type of stuff in there. It's a little high for me on JSN. I think he's the number 1 wide receiver, though. Quentin Johnston, I have a tough time getting a vibe for him. Addison didn't test that great. I'm not as high on Zay Flowers. If I had to bet on one of these guys, I do think Jaxon Smith-Njigba ends up being the first wide receiver drafted. Who do you think it is? JSN for Jaxon Smith-Njigba, QJ for Quentin Johnston, ZF for Zay Flowers, or JA for Jordan Addison. Nolan Smith up 2 spots, number 13. I think that's really decent range there. He's undersized. I get Hassan Reddick vibes from him. Paris Johnson Jr. slips 2 spots, but remains the first pure offensive tackle on the board. As Broderick Jones, our first newcomer, who wasn't ranked last time we did this, has gone up at least 10 spots, despite nothing really changing. What I think happened here and for several other players is Mel gets good feedback from those around the NFL, and they went, Mel, bump him up. Got to be higher. So Broderick Jones skyrockets up the list. So too does Darnell Wright, who is now number 16, and I think I'm gonna have a straight second-round grade on him, though. But if you want a pure right tackle, he is, and Mel agrees, the best pure right tackle in this year's class. Joey Porter Jr. slides down 7 spots. Again, there's no explanation why. I think if there's a generally viewed as a first-round pick who could slide, maybe it's Joey Porter Jr. I think he's really good. I'm a big fan of his game, and I think it might be closer to 10 than 17 on my own board once I finalize that in the week or so before the draft. More players to come, but if you want even more NFL draft videos, then you got to be subbed here on Chat Sports. We'll be live for the entirety of this class. It's basically, I work about 3 to 4 hours every night when I get off work at home to make sure we're ready to go on our draft coverage there. So make sure you're subscribed, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Number 18, Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. The back does concern me. I know that he got a doctor saying he was cleared. I care what teams say. I think he's got medical rechecks. I'm not totally sure on that front. That's coming up this weekish. But if you want a seam stretcher, this is your guy at tight end. Jordan Addison has now jumped up 3 spots. I'm not sure why, Sam. Good question. Undersized, but he was awesome at Pitt. Wasn't as good USC was kind of a bit banged up, I think, was a factor there. I think he'll late round one, going to be a very quality pick there. Will McDonald slid 7 spots. Him at 13, I was never on board with. Him at 20, still rich, but makes a lot more sense. Again, I will say this point. Iowa State's usage of Will McDonald, putting the 240-pound edge at defensive tackle, is a crime. Tyree Wilson is down at number 21 right now. He's going to be higher for me. I am not on board with the Wilson better than Will Anderson buzz, though. Emmanuel Forbes up 1 spot. He's lanky. He plays a lot bigger than his size, but he's 166. I don't know if he can add more weight. Because, there's no way his camp was like, yeah, dude, 166 is fine. There's no way that was the ideal plan going in, despite the speed. I don't think he can get above the 170s. And that is we're talking Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie was a skinny corner, 20 pounds heavier almost. That's a massive difference. Myles Murphy is back in the top 25 because, he shouldn't have slipped out. He tested pretty well at his pro day, which we knew was the whole process there. I think for Myles Murphy was somewhat out of sight, out of mind buzz there. Michael Mayer slides several spots. Again, no explanation given. Look, sleep on Michael Mayer if you want. He's not the best athlete. He's not the best blocker. He's not the best pass catcher in the class, but he does everything really well. I'm a big fan of Michael Mayer's game myself. Deonte Banks, who has kind of consistently hovered in this range for Mel Kiper, so I won't throw any more shade there. He checks back in now at number 25. I like the athlete there and the upside for Deonte Banks. Only 25 players for Mel. Why we don't go more? You know what? Personal preference, I guess, there. So who is Mel Kiper hating on by not putting in or on his big board? Drop that player name for me in the comments section right now. Now, there were some players who were previously ranked by Mel that are not anymore. And this is the one that blew me and producer Sam away here. Adetomiwa Adebawore, who was 14th the last time Mel Kiper did this. And now, not only is not top 25, is now down behind on Mel's rankings at DT. He went from 2nd to 4th. No reason given. I think what happened here, because Mel was saying top 15 pick for Adebawore. I would be shocked. But weird stuff happens. I think Mel got the feedback of, dude, this is way too high. You got to pull him back down. And he course-corrected there. Lucas Van Ness, Quentin Johnston, Kalijah Cansey, they're actually going to be around similar ranges, outside or just inside the top 25, so I'm fine there. Guys that I'm a big fan of who, they might not crack the top 25 for me, but are going to be in the range. Jahmyr Gibbs. I love Darnell Washington. I'm going to stake my flags on Osiris Torrance and Brian Branch. The NFL can be wrong if they want to be. Those guys are going to be good NFL players here. And Drew Sanders, Brian Brzee, also top-ish players at their spots who are not in the top 25.